Before we get started, I do want to make it clear a lot of y'all are going to be very upset with some of the concerts that I'm going to list as my worst. I know these groups are some of your faves. These are just my experiences. Please don't come after me. I am fragile. Also, I'm wearing my glasses today because, to be honest, I gotta cover up my eye bags. It's been a long work week. Hello world and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are going to be looking back at some of the K-pop concerts that I've been to ever since getting into K-pop. We're specifically going to be ranking some of these K-pop concerts from my 3 favorites and my 3 least favorites of all time. Now originally this video was supposed to be a vlog of my San Diego trip that I took last weekend. However, after looking at all the footage, I realized that I didn't film enough to warrant a vlog. In fact, I don't think I filmed enough clips to even warrant a YouTube video in general. Here's literally the only clips that I've gotten from my San Diego trip right here. Yeah, so we're doing this video instead. Now, if you don't know, my very first K-pop concert was back in 2021. And ever since then, I've been to a total of 80 to 100 K-pop concerts. This includes K-Con performances at conventions, performances at music festivals, like the whole shebang. And yes, this is actually a realistic number. Ever since I got into K-pop in 2021, I've been averaging about 20 to 30 K-pop performances and concerts. So that's not too far from 100. Recently, one of my close friends actually asked me, Gio, what was your favorite K-pop concert of all time? And that actually inspired this video. Because in all honesty, I never really thought about which ones were my favorites and which ones were my least favorites. So we are going to be looking back at some of the K-pop concerts I've been to and ranking them from the best and the worst, or my least favorites, just to be clear. Now, before we get started, I do want to make a big disclaimer. When it comes to ranking these K-pop concerts, specifically my least favorite concerts, I am not talking about the artists nor the groups themselves. In fact, every artist and K-pop group that I've seen live have been amazing. They are very talented, they put a lot of effort into their shows, so this ranking does not include those performances. When it comes to ranking these concerts, I'm specifically looking at things that these artists and groups don't have real control over. Things like the venue, things like the crowd, the audience, the staff of the venue, the food, even the weather in some cases. I want to make it clear also that these are all my opinions and my experiences. If you've been to any of these K-pop concerts that I mentioned and you had a better time than I did, or you had a worse time than I did, just know that you are warranted your experience. Those are your opinions. Those are your experiences. That's totally fine. You are valid in your experiences and your opinions. This is just how I felt with some of these concerts and performances. I just want to make that clear because I already know with some of these groups, y'all are about to come after me with some of them. So let me just make that clear. You are granted your opinions as I am as well. And with that, let's go ahead and get started with these rankings. Starting off with my number 3 favorite K-pop concert I've been to of all time, we are talking about the Twice Ready to Be tour. I think this was back in 2022. If I'm wrong, I am sorry. I'm gonna put the right information down here. Now I want to make it clear that every single Twice concert that I've been to has been amazing. But out of all the Twice concerts that I've been to, this one happens to be number 1. With good reason. There were many things that were good about this concert. The weather was amazing, the crowd was energetic. It was just like all good vibes in general. Let's talk about my concert fit because I think this was part of the reason why I felt so great about this concert. So me and the boyfriend actually a couple days before this concert went to get matching spray paint tie-dye shirts with our biases names on them. We also got matching pink cowboy hats as well, which kind of added to the whole K-pop couple winning twinning thing. The freebie game, that was great too. We actually had to make 2 stops to the car before the concert just to empty out our bags because of the amount of freebies that we got at this concert. Mind you, someone at the concert actually gave out full albums with photo cards. Like, the photo cards were still in there. It also kind of helped that all my friends were there because this was like the biggest Twice concert in LA in a while, so everyone definitely showed up, and it was like a family reunion as well. And overall, like I said, the concert was amazing. Obviously, Twice know how to perform and they know how to hold a concert, and this one was probably their best one that I personally witnessed, mainly because they performed Basics. I love Basics. That was my song at the time. It kind of still is as well, so it kind of worked out that they performed that as their encore song. There's only a couple of reasons why it's on my number 3 and not higher. Number 1 is because we were actually in the nosebleeds for this concert. Honestly, if we were closer to the stage, even if we weren't on floor, just in general, if we were closer to the stage, I'm pretty sure that this concert would rank higher. Also, this is kind of selfish of me, but I am actually one of the few onces who has not seen TT live yet. I feel like everyone has seen TT live except for me. And then obviously, they didn't perform TT at this concert, which, you know, I'm still bitter about. One day I feel like I'm gonna see TT live and then it will just be a game changer for everything. But until then, Twice is gonna be right here at the stop for my number 3 favorite concert of all time. So now we're gonna talk about my number 3 least favorite K-pop concert of all time. It actually was last year when this concert happened, and it was so annoying for everyone involved. It was the 17 Right Here tour, and I'm specifically talking about day 1. Day 2 was okay, but day 1, I really had a problem with. The real reason why this is ranked as one of my least favorites is because when the concert started, 2/3 of the audience was still outside waiting to get in. The stadium was literally empty right when the concert was supposed to start. What made this worse was that it wasn't even a tiny delay. It was a legit 45-minute delay. And even with the 45-minute delay, when the concert started, there were still people outside still trying to get in, including me and my boyfriend. What ended up happening was that me and my boyfriend ended up missing the first 3 songs of the concert, and we also missed the first half of the opening greeting of 17. So by the time we got inside and into our seats, literally half the members already did their opening greeting to everyone, including my biased S-Scoops. Do you understand how upset I was? And I am, because I'm still mad. Also, it didn't really help that at BMO Stadium, literally the entire staff and security were being rude as hell to everyone. People were asking, why is there a delay? When are we gonna go inside? When's the concert gonna start? And they literally brushed off every single question and just started yelling at everyone to just move in, even though y'all are not letting us in because, again, there was a 45-minute delay. So this is what apparently happened. Allegedly. So apparently there was a soccer game the day before the 17 Day 1 concert. And by the time the soccer game ended, they didn't really have the stage really set up or anything. So they spent the majority of day 1 in the morning and afternoon setting up the stage while people were already lining up waiting to get inside. Because of this, apparently, allegedly, they had to switch sound check to send off. And apparently, allegedly, this information wasn't told until literally hours until the show was going to start. Because soundcheck was canceled and it was replaced with send off, literally everyone on floor, along with everyone that had regular tickets, were stuck waiting in a bigger line just to get into this venue. And I guess it was still delayed because, like I said, allegedly, the stage wasn't ready for the people to come in. Now you can see where the problem lies. Honestly, if I have to be honest, the delay and the late start weren't really a big issue to me and my boyfriend, mainly because we aren't really big 17 diehards. We're casual listeners of 17, but we're not like super diehards. But I can imagine if you ulted 17 and this was your once-in-a-lifetime chance to see them on stage in LA, and there was a 45-minute delay and you were still outside and they started performing the songs while you were still outside, I would justifiably be pissed off as well. Yeah, that was a mess. That's why I'm only including day 1, because day 2, they got their ish together and they somehow resolved it. But yeah, that concert was just a mess. And spoiler alert, this isn't going to be the last time you're going to see BMO Stadium on this list. Going back to my favorites list, at the number 2 spot, we got the ATEEZ Towards the Light finale show in Seoul, Korea. Now, if I have to be honest, out of all the K-pop groups that I've seen live and perform and in concert, I think ATEEZ is up there as one of the groups that I've seen the most of. And out of all of their shows, all of their tours, all of their concerts, this one in Korea has got to be number 1 out of all their performances. Obviously, the main reason why this show specifically is on my list of favorites is because this is my very first K-pop concert in Korea. So just a quick background here. This concert was one of 2 finale shows that they had for their Towards the Light tour. They actually announced these concerts right after I booked my trip to Korea. If you've seen my Korea vlogs, you would have remembered that I was in Korea to be part of a Korea tour group. I did have a couple days before the tour group started, which is kind of where this concert actually was to take place. And honestly, it lined up perfectly because the concerts were actually held on the 2 days that I was in Korea where I did not have any plans whatsoever. So it just aligned perfectly where I could at least go to one of these shows. I ended up going to day 1. I kind of wanted to go to day 2 since it was like the very last big show, but I was just happy to attend a show in Korea, watching a legit K-pop group. In fact, one of my favorite K-pop groups of all time in their home country. If you are a K-pop fan, you need to see a K-pop concert in Korea. That has to be on your bucket list because there is a big difference between seeing a K-pop concert in the States versus seeing a K-pop concert in actual Korea. Let's get the details on why this concert was very amazing. First of all, it was Yuno's birthday weekend. All around the venue, there were a bunch of Yuno events, Yuno cup sleeves, and they were very close to the venue. A lot of people were also giving out Yuno freebies, so it was like a big celebration for Yuno. By the way, the venue, KPOP Dome, super intimate, and it is a very cute and nice venue. It wasn't only intimate, but every seat at KPOP Dome was amazing. Mind you, when you watch my vlog of the ATEEZ concert, I was actually sitting in the very back of the stadium, and that was still my view. There is literally no bad view in KPOP Dome, as far as I'm concerned. I've seen this tour multiple times. In fact, I've even seen this tour with soundcheck and on floor and up close when I was in LA. This concert in Korea still topped that concert experience. It honestly was like going to my very first K-pop concert, like that feeling all over again where everything is brand new and you don't know what to expect and everything's all shiny and you're just like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Because again, I've never been to a K-pop concert in Korea, so I didn't know what to expect. And that excitement alone was what made this concert very special. It was also really cute to see the members of ATEEZ be very comfortable in their home country. They were very comfortable. Also, we got carts in Korea. We got carts in Korea. So that already tops every other ATEEZ show within this tour. Honestly, the only real reason why this is not my number 1 concert of all time was because I was alone for this show. If I was here with my boyfriend, not even my boyfriend, if I was here with anyone else, whether that would be a friend or someone who won a giveaway or someone from my tour group or just a mutual or something, I feel like I would have loved it better if I have to be honest. Mainly because I would be sharing this memory with someone else for the first time, and I feel like that joint memory making is what made K-pop concerts super memorable. It was a solo dolo concert day, and honestly, I do wish that I went to this concert with someone that I knew or, you know, with my boyfriend. But he was back in America working. It wasn't his fault though. Oh my god, we are back at BMO Stadium. At the number 2 least favorite K-pop concert I've been to, it's the Blackpink Born Pink concert. And I'm going to be including both day 1 and day 2 in this countdown because they were both equally horrible. This is the second concert that is in BMO Stadium. And as you can probably tell by now, BMO Stadium is probably my least favorite concert venue in all of LA and Orange County. But honestly, I'll probably talk more about that in a bit because my god, that stadium is I hate that stadium. The reason why this tour is ranked so low for me is not because of the girls, because like I said, the girls performed amazing. It's because of the people that attended the show. I don't know what was going on, but all the fans at the show were some of the worst people that I've ever encountered at a K-pop concert. Now I want to make this very clear because I know a couple of y'all are blinks. I'm not saying all blinks are bad. These blinks that attended these shows were bad. It was just the behavior of the fans and the crowd that just turned me off. Example number one, even before we got inside the venue, there were these two guys who were verbally fighting and yelling at each other. One of them was trying to sell the clear bags to this other guy and his girl, and I guess this guy got mad that he was calling out his girl or something, and so he started yelling at bad guy, and they just had a whole fight between each other. I should also probably mention this as well. Bad guy was black. Girlfriend guy was Asian. The Asian guy called the black guy a word that I refuse to say on camera, off camera, and anytime in real life. But just so you know, he said a word with all the letters. Yeah, that was really bad. Example number two, in general, the fans were very mean and rude to the staff, specifically the male blinks. The female blinks were really chill. The male blinks somehow were just very angry with everything and everyone and took it out on the staff and security at all the venue places, on the floor, outside the stadium, in the stadium. They were just very angry for some reason. And I honestly don't know why. But I'm also going to hold security accountable as well, because why was security yelling back at everyone and just yelling and having a power trip the entire night? I swear to God, there is something wrong with the BMO Stadium security staff, because why is it that they're always on a power trip for whatever reason? But the biggest thing that came out of this show, everyone on floor literally stood on top of their chairs for the entire concert. Every single person, every single blink that was on floor decided collectively that they were going to stand on top of their chairs for the entirety of the concert. Like, what? I'm honestly surprised that the chairs didn't collapse, because these chairs were very flimsy. They're literally like the flimsy white chairs that you would kind of like lay out during like parties and stuff. The fact that no one fell over is a miracle on its own. The fact that no one collapsed or broke any of the chairs, as far as I know, child, that was a miracle on its own as well, because what was going on that night? The only saving grace that came out of this night, and the reason why this isn't my least favorite concert of all time, was because at the end of the concert, my boyfriend enjoyed his time and enjoyed the performances and just had an overall fun time. And to me, that kind of cancels out some of the things that happened that night. Listen, as long as one of us was happy, then I'm pretty fine with it. But my God, that was just the worst 2 nights of my life. Also, don't worry, everyone. I did end up getting my redemption arc for Blackpink. In fact, I did go to a couple Blackpink concerts after that, and they were amazing. The crowd was amazing and nicer. And it also kind of helped that I did see Jennie and Lisa perform at Coachella, which I guess kind of makes up for almost everything. And I saw Bruno Mars at the recent one. So yeah, I guess it makes up for it. So we're going to go ahead and talk about my favorite and my least favorite K-pop concerts of all time. But before we do that, we do have some honorable mentions as well. With 80 to 100 K-pop concerts, there were a lot of amazing concerts and performances that unfortunately didn't reach my top 3 of all time, but I do want to mention them as well. First, we got some music festival performances. I'm specifically talking about New Jeans at Lollapalooza. I'm talking about Enhypen at Coachella. And I'm talking about Camp LA, which, although the event in general was horrific, the artists and the groups that performed at Camp LA definitely made it a very memorable and enjoyable experience. We also got the Stray Kids Maniac tour, specifically in Oakland, because that was actually my boyfriend's first time seeing Stray Kids live at his hometown. We have the ATEEZ Fellowship tour stop in Phoenix, because that was my first time flying out of state for a K-pop concert, and that was very fun and still up there as like one of my top 10 K-pop concerts of all time. And last but not least, we got BTS Permission to Dance Day 1, mainly because that concert has a special place in my heart. That concert was actually my very first K-pop concert. It was actually my first concert in general. So that concert specifically has a special place in my heart. At the number 1 spot for my favorite K-pop concert of all time. I mean, it really shouldn't be a surprise to anyone on who the group is. It's the Stray Kids Dominate Tour that just happened in May. Now, I already know what y'all are gonna say. Geo, Stray Kids are your ult. Of course, they're gonna be in your number 1 spot. I mean, duh, of course they're gonna be in my number 1 spot. Like, hello. No, but in all honesty, there are multiple reasons why this concert, and I'm including both day 1 and day 2 of this tour stop in LA. There's a reason why these 2 concerts specifically are up as my number 1 favorite K-pop concert, tour, whatever, of all time. First of all, these guys, my JY Poppy freebies. Now, I usually don't give out freebies at concerts, but I wanted to give out freebies for this specific concert because, one, I'd never given out freebies before, but also because they are my ult group and I did want to make this concert special. So I decided to make K-pop freebies for the first time for this concert. I did not expect these freebies to blow up as big as they did, both on social media and in person, but they did. And literally the amount of stays that recognized me because of these freebies was very amazing. Everyone loved these freebies. I don't think I've encountered anyone who was like disgusted genuinely with these freebies. And honestly, because of these freebies, I ended up getting an unhealthy horde of freebies myself, even more than any concert that I've been to. Second, let's talk about my concert fits, because I loved my concert fits for both shows. Recently, I've been super lazy with my concert fits that I decided that for these 2 shows, I wanted to go all out and put some time and effort into these fits. And I can honestly say that looking back now, even though these 2 fits were very different from each other, these 2 fits are probably some of my favorite K-pop concert fits of all time, and will honestly go down in history as some of my favorites. Specifically, day 1, I got so many compliments for my outfit, and day 2, if I'd be honest, I just wanted to dress up in something stupid. But it honestly worked out clearly. The overall energy as well on both days was super amazing. Everyone was super excited. Everyone just wanted to hang out. Pretty much every stay that I interacted with was super nice, super friendly, and super excited for this concert. A lot of people that I interacted with, they just wanted to hang out, whether that be some of my friends, people that follow me on my social media accounts, even new stays that I just met right there and then. Everyone was super nice, excited, and they were just ready to go for this concert. And to me, that is something that you can't get anywhere else, especially at a concert that just exudes a lot of energy and positivity and excitement. Also, when I said that I put a lot of effort into this concert, I literally mean I put a lot of effort, time, and money into these 2 concerts. Specifically for day 2. Day 2, hands down, has got to be the best concert date of all time. Out of the 2 days, I think day 2 specifically is my favorite K-pop concert of all time. First of all, I ended up getting soundcheck, which is super great, but also soundcheck from my alt group. Like, that's obviously going to be up there as my number 1. And the fact that I was super close to Stray Kids, there's nothing like that feeling of being up close, seeing your faves that you look up to, that inspire you, that you listen to their music for years, seeing them up close in person is just a whole nother experience. Which leads to, honestly, the biggest reason why this concert is my number 1. If you watch my Stray Kids concert vlog, you know why this concert is my number 1. The reason this concert is my number 1 is because my bias, my alt bias, Lino of Stray Kids, made direct eye contact with me for exactly 3 seconds. And that's all it took for this concert to be my number 1 favorite concert of all time. Okay, goodbye. That moment alone made that concert what it was to me. Now I understand this just might be me being delusional. He might have seen someone else. Actually, you know what? Scratch that. No, because I have video proof of him making direct eye contact with me and the lead bit I held upside down. But that's not the point. No, but in all seriousness, that moment alone is probably up there as one of my top favorite moments of all time as a K-pop fan. In fact, I think I have to go through my phone. I think my friend recorded my reaction when I realized that Lino made direct eye contact with me. I'm probably gonna post it right here while I'm still talking and stuff. Those 2 concerts for that tour specifically, as well as all the reasons I mentioned earlier, are the main reasons why this tour, the Stray Kids Dominate Tour Stop, is my number 1 favorite K-pop concert of all time. Now, I wish we could end it there, but we gotta talk about my least favorite K-pop concert of all time. Time to ruin the mood once again by talking about my least favorite K-pop concert. Someone's gonna be upset. I do have a dishonorable mention list as well for my least favorite K-pop concerts. There are a couple outliers there that honestly just made me realize how much some of these concerts and festivals and performances suck. So my dishonorable mentions list includes Waterbomb LA, mainly because that didn't really happen. It ended up being a scam, but we do have to mention it anyway. We got the ATEEZ Fellowship Tour specifically in Anaheim, and I'm talking about the day 1 show because that show ended up having a big ass storm and the venue, the Honda Center, refused to let people inside to stay dry. We will be talking about the Honda Center for my number 1 least favorite K-pop concert. Any KCON Mnet performance after 2023 is on my dishonorable mentions list. I feel like after 2023, KCON's concert just went downhill from there to the point where I started noticing that not even the artists want to be there. There is a problem if your artists don't want to be at the concert, at the performance that you are trying to hold. And last but not least, ironically, I have here BTS Permission to Dance Day 1 as well on my least favorite. Listen, as a first K-pop concert, the experience was amazing. However, similar to the 17 concert, it got delayed because literally 3/4 of the audience still wasn't inside the venue. And ironically, that also happened to be the concert where there was that footage of all the fans bum rushing trying to run into SoFi Stadium. I'm pretty sure SoFi Stadium learned their lesson from that. Listen, it's a very complicated relationship between that first concert of BTS. I'm confused as well. So here we go. My least favorite K-pop concert of all time has got to be I don't know why I'm delaying it. Yeah, it was an Hypen Manifesto tour, and I'm specifically talking about the stop in the Honda Center because the Honda Center is ass. Now, before I talk about why this is my least favorite K-pop concert of all time, I do need to give Hypen some slack because I have gotten my redemption arc for Hypen multiple times, specifically recently for Coachella. Their Coachella performance and seeing that live definitely made up for the mess that this was this concert, because that Coachella performance was amazing, unlike this concert. And once again, I do want to mention, I'm not talking about the boys, I'm talking about everything else, because everything that happened at this concert sucked. Now, I will hold myself accountable for this. At the time of this concert, I didn't know too much about Hypen. The reason why, in reality, I went to this concert in the first place was because I did want to learn more about Hypen, their music. So I thought, might as well go to their concert and see what all the hype is about. Unfortunately, everything that went wrong for me personally, because everything that this concert was, to me, a personal attack on me. First of all, we gotta talk about the venue. The venue was at the Honda Center in Anaheim, which to me is probably one of the worst venues, period. If you ask any K-pop fan that lives in LA or Orange County what their least favorite K-pop concert venue is, chances are they're going to be mentioning 2 venues, Honda Center and BMO Stadium. Both of them are like twins in the this is ass period. The staff here at the Honda Center are so rude to everyone. They were rude during the Enhypen show. They were rude to me during the other shows that I've been to at the Honda Center. They are such on a high power trip to the point where they are more power hungry than the security at TSA. Which is saying something. Side note, this is the same exact venue where during the Stray Kids Maniac tour, they didn't let this girl in because her sign was in Korean. They said, quote, they couldn't understand the sign because it's in Korean and it could be a possible threat written on it. They couldn't let her in with the sign because they didn't understand Korean. So they assumed that it was a written threat. Second of all, my concert fit. I don't know what I was thinking with my concert fit because my concert fit that night was horrible. I think I made a video about my least favorite concert fits of all time. I'm pretty sure that was on that list and that video. I don't even know what I was thinking with this outfit. I don't know why I had the black overalls, the purple hoodie, the bucket hat. Like, I don't know what my inspiration was other than looking like a rotten grape. All I remember is that it was hot, it was tight, and it was ugly. Actually, you know what? No, now I remember why I wore that outfit. It was because of a Nicki photo that I saw. It was supposed to look like this purple overall outfit that Nicki wore, but instead I ended up looking like the AliExpress version model of it, as it was like dropped in the ocean and reclaimed and just dropped in the ocean again. Like, does that make sense? Overall, it was an ugly outfit. The worst thing about this concert, outside of the venue, outside of my ugly outfit, the one thing that ruined this concert for me was the people that I sat around during the show. I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I went to this show alone, so I didn't have anyone to sit with or watch the concert with. So I was just by myself in the nosebleeds trying to watch this concert happen. Unfortunately, the people that I sat with and the section that I was in were filled with some of the worst fans of my life. Now again, I want to mention this. Not all engines are bad. These engines, however, were awful. You know how like a lot of people these days talk about concert etiquette and how a lot of fans don't have it anymore? Yeah, this was this entire night because I don't think anyone here knew how to act at a concert. First of all, anytime that the members would talk, there's someone around me screaming their names to the point where I couldn't even hear what they were saying. Mind you also, we were in nosebleeds. I don't think they're gonna hear you scream their names while the way in the back of the stadium. Like, that's not gonna happen, sweetheart. Like, that's not gonna work. There was also this moment that I remember where these guys, I don't even know if they were fans of the show or they just snuck into the stadium. Either way, they were actively trying to hit on these girls and get their phone numbers and their Snapchats or Instagrams to the point where they literally seat hopped closer to these girls and started blocking everyone's view. Mind you, these guys and these girls were in separate sections, so I don't know why we are going together. I'm already getting more upset just recollecting everything that happened this night. Oh my god. There were lots of seat hopping as well because apparently everyone wanted to get closer even though we were literally in nosebleeds and you couldn't move up closer. Why are we moving up closer when we can't even move up close anyway because we are on a balcony? Make it make sense. Now, I could forgive all of this. All of this could have been forgiven if I didn't get hit with a light stick on my head. Twice. I got hit with a light stick on the head twice. And I didn't get a sorry. This guy, literally who was sitting next to me, bless his heart, because he was a clear fan of Enhypen. I just don't think he understood spatial awareness because he kept hitting me with his light stick or let's oh my god. Ooh. He had his light stick right here. You know how with light sticks you're supposed to do this or sometimes this or sometimes this? You know what he did? He did this! He was waving his light stick like this! And guess who he ended up hitting on the head? Me! He ended up hitting me with his light stick like this! I Ooh! No, because here's the thing. I tried to be nice also, okay? Because I had an aisle seat. So me trying to be nice, trying to give my friend here some space, I ended up moving to the aisle space where I was hoping that he had more room to kind of, do his little thing right here. Tell me why, even though I did that, I somehow got hit on the head with his light stick. Again! Oh my god, this concert was the worst experience of my life. I really wanted to enjoy ENHYPEN, okay? I really wanted to leave that concert thinking that I have a newfound love for these boys, but all I got from that night was a concussion on the head and the grossness of witnessing preteen boys try to hit on these girls during the entire time. Oh my god, while Sunwoo was probably crying or something. I don't know. I don't know who cried because I couldn't hear anything from the concert because I'm hearing little Sally over here trying to give Bobby here his Snapchat or something. Look, It was a really bad experience, okay? That's all you had to know. Honestly, though, for me, this is going down as the worst K-pop concert that I've attended. And again, it wasn't because of ENHYPEN, it was because of everything that happened during ENHYPEN's concert. But like I said, I did end up getting my redemption arc multiple times. Thank you, Coachella, for making me love ENHYPEN. And also within these multiple times that I saw ENHYPEN, the fandom got nicer. At least the sections that I sat at this time were nicer. Ironically enough, I did see ENHYPEN once again at the Honda Center, and I'm pretty sure I sat in the same section, but the people around me definitely made up for the mess that was that Manifesto tour, because I need to do some Enya after this. Oh, that was so much. So there you have it. Those are my top 3 favorite K-pop concerts of all time, as well as my least top 3 favorite K-pop concerts of all time. Again, I do want to make it clear that this was all my experiences. If you went to these shows and you had an opposite experience as me, that's totally fine. You are entitled to your experience. You are entitled to your opinions. You can say that, Gio, you were wrong about the Stray Kids concert. Or, Gio, I had an amazing time at that Anaheim Manifesto concert. You're just overreacting because you got assaulted by a weapon. All I'm saying is that everyone's experience is valid, so if you had a great time at these concerts, that's good on you. If you had a terrible time at these concerts, I do hope that you had some redemption for some of these concerts. This is just my experience. These are my opinions only. Every single artist and every single group that I saw live performed with their hearts and with their talent, and they were definitely amazing on stage. It honestly just sucks that some of these things have to be ruined by things that are out of these artists and groups' control, like staff and the weather and the fans and getting hit with the light stick twice on the head. I still love you, ENHYPEN, okay? But you need to tell that boy to calm down or something. That is it for this video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. If you want me to do more videos like this, please let me know in the comment section, or just, reach out to me on my social media accounts. And also let me know in the comments, what is your favorite K-pop concert of all time? What's your least favorite K-pop concert of all time? Do we have the same experiences at these concerts, or am I overreacting with some of these? I definitely would like to know in the comments, because y'all's experiences are valid, and I am a chismosa and I like to listen in on people's opinions and thoughts. Thank you again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see y'all at the next one. Bye, y'all.